Hi everyone, it's Miss Frankie. I'm going to talk just real quickly about 3 of the most popular strategies to do mental math, which is lesson 2.8. If you go through the lesson, you'll actually notice there are a couple more strategies. They're not strategies that are ones that you would typically use every day. So I'm going to show you the 3 most popular ones that we've kind of instructed the kids to use and might help out with any assignments that they have. The first strategy is using the associative and or the commutative property. And these properties, the associative property, is basically regrouping numbers. So when we group them, we put the parentheses around them. So we regroup numbers in an order that makes sense. Sometimes we just regroup by switching where the parentheses are. So say I regroup by keeping the order the same, but just putting the parentheses in a different way. Or I can use the associative and commutative by reordering the numbers. So maybe I want to do 20 times 6 and then group those times 3. It still all works. No matter how I solve these problems, I will still end up with the same answer. When I go through these problems, when I go through them, let me erase this for us real quick. So say in this problem, I want to regroup it to make it a little bit easier. Because if I multiply 6 times 3, that's 18. Well, 18 times 20, I can't do that very quickly in my head. So I want to regroup them in an easy format. Well, I can multiply 3 times 20 very quickly. 3 times 20 is 60, because I use my basic fact and add my 0. Times 6. So then again, 6 times 60 is 360. So that's one way of using the associative property. The commutative property is just reordering the factors into an easier to process multiplication problem. And one thing we will be learning about later this year is order of operations. Order of operations says that I go from left to right within each operation. Well, because they're both multiplication problems, I would start with 7 times 4, then 25. I can't multiply 28 times 25 very easily, so I'm going to multiply 25 times 4 and then multiply that by 7. The reason I want to multiply 25 times 4 is I'm going to think of quarters. 25 quarters. Makes sense to me. So if I have 25, which is a quarter, times 4 quarters. So 4 quarters is $1. Well, that in number form is just 100 times 7. Then solve this problem, which is 700. So that's the commutative property and associative properties. That's the first of the 3. The second one is using addition, or what is commonly called the expanded form. There is a slight change that sometimes our book makes on this. So I'm going to show you both ways. The addition part of it says to break the larger number up into 2 chunks. So I would have 200 plus 12. That way, using our distributive part, I'm going to multiply each of these by 8. So I have 8 times 200 in my parentheses plus 8 times 12. So I would take 8 times 2, which is 16, and my 2 zeros, plus 8 times 12, which is 96, and then I would just add them up. Move this, which is 1,696. The other way is to use the expanded form. So if I have the exact same problem, I'm going to just take like I would expanded form. So 212 in expanded form is 200 plus 10 plus 2. So 8 times 200 plus 8 times 10 plus 8 times 2. And this would be 1,600 plus 80 plus 16. And again, when I add them all up, I get 1,696. So this is step 2. This is another way that can be easily used. Sometimes what you'll notice is maybe in this 212, that number is a 25, and it can be really easy to multiply, or it's a base of 10, so 10, 20, 30, 40, etc. The last way is using what we call friendly numbers, and they're friendly numbers by taking the smaller number, or in this case, the one that doesn't have a 25 or a 0 in it, and finding out the factors of that number. Well, if I think of the factors of 36, some of the basic ones, I have 1 and 36. Yeah, that doesn't change much. I have 4 and 9, or I have 6 and 6. So I'm going to think about which of these factors, when I multiply by 25, is going to give me an easy form to multiply. I'm going to pick 4 times 9. It's not to say that any other factors wouldn't work. In my head, though, I think 4 is going to be something good to multiply by. So I rewrite my problem now as 4 times 9 times 250. This is the same as 36 times 250 because 4 times 9 is 36. So, whoops, one too many. What I want to do is reorder in the way I want to multiply. I think I can multiply 4 times 250 pretty easily. Then once I'm done, I'll multiply that by 9. Well, my base problem is 4 times 25. I know using quarters that if I have 25, that means it's a quarter. 4 of those would be 100, and then I add my other 0, and then my 9. So now I have 1,000 times 9, which I can quickly do and say 9,000. Again, these are the top 3 ways that we teach it, how to do mental math. The other ways are halving and doubling and using subtraction. They're not as user-friendly, and they're not ones that the kids really use that much. So we're going to stick with these 3: friendly numbers, using addition or expanded form, and associative commutative. Thanks for listening. Have a great night.